Hello, everyone. Welcome. I think we're going to get started now. I'm so happy to see everyone. I just am so amazed by all the locations we have represented. Let me introduce myself and we'll go right into the program. My name is Nina Ichikawa. I'm the executive director of the Berkeley Food Institute. I stand on the shoulders of my ancestors who were newcomers here to the Bay Area in 1895. So we're just getting started. And we're really, I'm really grateful to lead Berkeley Food Institute at UC Berkeley campus. And we're so grateful to host this 2-week-long conference and convening on agroecological cities, sovereignty, resilience, and the future of food. We are so pleased to have people tuning in from 7 different countries, 32 states, and 51 California cities, and maybe more over the course of these next 2 weeks. Just to let you know, this opening session will be recorded and will be shared later on Berkeley Food Institute's YouTube channel. So we'll make sure to share that with you if anyone else hasn't been able to attend or if they had technical issues. So we have a very exciting and packed schedule that's starting now. So I'll get right into it. And I encourage everyone to keep calling out where they're coming from on the chat. And if you have other questions, to make sure to let our staff know if you're having any problems getting in or need anything else. Our first speaker will be Fenosha Bowen, who is the Director of Native American Student Development at UC Berkeley. Thank you so much for joining and kicking us off, Fenosha.
Well, thank you, Nina, and thanks to the Berkeley Food Institute and all the people organizing this event for inviting me to say a few words. As Nina said, my name is Fenosha Bowen. I am the Director of Native American Student Development, which is an office here on campus that works both to support Native students who are attending Berkeley, but also to address campus climate issues. And in the 7.5 years that I've been at Berkeley in my capacity as a staff person, I think this is why I was invited, is I have been working on the back end with many partners to look at how we can bring or begin to acknowledge even Native issues on campus and start to help Berkeley reckon with a very troubling history that is often invisibilized. So I don't think that this is, I wasn't asked to come in lieu of a land acknowledgement, but I think in my conversations with some of the organizers, recognizing that land acknowledgements can be problematic if there is an action, really an intentionality behind them. And I think this is an issue we're beginning to see as the popularity of land acknowledgements grow in terms of when is appropriate to use them and for what reasons. And I think the organizers have done such a lovely job of really centering on the voices of local Indigenous people who represent a variety of the communities that existed in Huchun, which is also known as Berkeley, for the Chochenyo speaking people and their ancestors who are still here. So Berkeley does sit in the territory of Huchun, and it has been taken care of by Chochenyo speaking people for millennia. And I'm just really glad to see that there's lots of representation in the next few weeks of those folks and integrating them into how we think about food systems and sovereignty, particularly in urban areas. So I think I want to thank the organizers for that. I was asked to talk a little bit about the complexity of Berkeley, also its history as a land grant institution. So we recently celebrated our 150 years of light. And I think it's notable that even in that celebration, there was no recognition of the history of the land, or even a recognition that of the university's complicity in a settler colonial project, and our institutions are. So Berkeley received over 150,000 acres to fund the beginning of what would become School of Agriculture, and as the flagship institution. There are several other campuses who also did eventually receive funds from the Morrill Act, but for those of you who are not familiar with the Morrill Act or what land grant institutions mean, I would encourage you to check out an excellent High Country News article, which got and it is actually a really historical project where you can go to their website and see all of the institutions that across the country in the United States who received funding from unceded or just dispossessed land that was the homelands of Native peoples across this country. So as we think about being in spaces to share intellectual knowledge and have these conversations, wherever we go, you are occupying Native land. And so I think that is worth, well, it's clear that organizers are thinking about this. I also would hope that folks can think about how that, how you address that in the daily actions of your lives and the work that you do. And sometimes that means going outside of your area. I think I have these conversations with folks, particularly in agriculture, where it's easy to focus on how we're doing it in agriculture, but how also do we see it in our daily lives? Yeah, so I see I am at my time. And so I just want to welcome everybody and say I'm super glad that these kinds of conversations are happening at Berkeley. And I am really honored to be both invited here, but a guest on the lands of the Chochenyo speaking people whose ancestors have taken care of this place for many, many years. I'm originally from Montana, so I too am a guest. Thank you, and I wish you the best for your conference.
Thank you so much. Thank you for joining us, Fenosha, and thanks for all that you do here. Before I move on to the next part, I want to just really explain our sponsors and those who have helped to get this huge event together. And you'll be hearing more about them through the course of these next 2 weeks. Co-sponsors include UC Agriculture and Natural Resources. Of course, we are the Berkeley Food Institute, the Growing Roots Collaborative, Agroecology Commons, the Rouser College of Natural Resources, Department of Environmental Science and Management, Berkeley Department of City and Regional Planning, and of course, the Foundation for Food and Agriculture Research, who had the vision to invest in urban agriculture. And we're going to now hear from the three research leaders of that project. I want to invite them now, and they're such incredible leaders. I think you're going to really enjoy hearing from them. We have Jennifer Sauerwein, who is an Associate Cooperative Extension Specialist here at Berkeley in the Rouser College. Acey, who is an Associate Professor of City and Regional Planning in the College of Environmental Design, as well as Faculty Director here at Berkeley Food Institute. And Tim Bowles, who's an Assistant Professor of Agroecology within the Environmental Science Policy and Management Department, as well as a Co-Associate Faculty Director of Berkeley Food Institute. Thank you and welcome.
Thank you so much, Nina. Again, we are just so pleased to be engaging with all of you over the next 2 weeks to explore what it means to build a just and sustainable agroecological city. For the past 3 years, as Nina mentioned, a team from UC Berkeley, UC Cooperative Extension, and community partners have collaborated on an urban agroecology research and outreach project funded by the Foundation for Food and Agriculture Research, designed to strengthen the ecological resilience and economic viability of urban farms and food systems throughout the San Francisco Bay Area. This conference seeks to share out some of the lessons learned from this research and engage in critical conversations with California food and farm justice leaders and friends from other regions in the country who are working on the front lines of building a more just, equitable, and resilient urban food system. These conversations couldn't be more timely in light of the COVID-19 pandemic, climate disruptions, and ongoing harm caused by racial violence that has challenged our urban communities and food systems over the past year in unprecedented ways. We look forward to learning from our speakers and from all of you about the diverse and creative pathways for healing, land justice, and community resilience that can be found throughout our East Bay urban farms and beyond. We hope that everyone comes away from the conference with not only a deeper understanding of the challenges and opportunities for strengthening the resilience of our urban farm and food systems, but also new connections and practical resources to help get us there. Charisma?
Thank you, Jenny. I would add that racial justice and food justice have always been deeply interconnected. And I think the abrupt pivot we had to make in our research questions and approach during the pandemic underscored just how central issues of race, class, and power are to understanding food and health disparities. We know that in the US, racism is encoded in the built environment through historic policies at every level of government, and that the industrial agri-food system, as we know it today, was made possible by the enslavement of African peoples, as well as the destruction and colonization of indigenous lands, and that it disproportionately relies on the exploited labor of people of color and immigrants, the same people also ravaged by COVID-19. Throughout the pandemic, we talked with community partners who had to adapt and respond to the urgent needs of frontline communities and workers, disproportionately Black, Latinx, Indigenous, elderly, and working class, who have borne the brunt of the disease caused by the virus. And this reality has been aggravated by the lack of universal health care, job protections, living wages, and affordable housing, the same contributing factors that drive food insecurity. And this includes the perilous realities of volunteers themselves who largely do the vital work on our partner urban farms. With that, we sincerely hope that you will attend as many sessions as you can across all 3 tracks, which engage these issues in critical ways and offer strategies and pathways forward. Track 1 on innovative land access for urban farming features sessions on expanding access to public and private land, examples of partnerships and supporting policies and regulations. Track 2 on creating resilience across agriculture and ancestry features solutions being implemented by and for Black, Indigenous, people of color community members to restore and rematriate land to BIPOC stewardship. And track 3 on resilience through agroecology features sessions on innovative research partnerships, community and student-led farming initiatives that reveal how urban farming can reduce racialized disparities in food security by both promoting ecological and community health. And be sure to check out the incredible lineup of speakers on our conference webpage as well. And I know Merritt is going to drop a link to that speaker lineup as well. Thank you so much. Tim?
Thanks so much, Charisma, for just making clear and centering just how deeply interwoven racial justice and food justice are. Another connection that has been made even more apparent during the last year of the pandemic. And so as we consider the distance between where we are and a vision of an agroecological city, I want to just point out that we can look to agroecology not only as an inspiration for this future vision, but also guiding the pathway for getting there. You know, agroecology is not just about applying agroecological principles to the design and management of agricultural systems. That's a really important part of it, but it's also more fundamentally the framework for how we work together to transform our food system by addressing root causes of problems and providing holistic and long-term solutions. And so when we embrace agroecology, we embrace the humility, the valuing different ways of knowing, and we braid together our work as practitioners, as researchers, as organizers, to move towards creating a city where the right to food and the right to food production and the community and ecological relationships from which these rights manifest are embedded throughout the structures and policies of our society. And so as researchers coming from an institution founded in part on the proceeds from stolen indigenous land, we look forward to listening and learning about how we can strengthen community university partnerships to work towards this agroecological vision. And so throughout the conference, we'll be featuring specific calls to action and invite others to do so as well. And so please also join us for the closing session on March 11th from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m., where we want to collectively consider what we've learned over these couple of weeks and what the next steps could be. So thanks again so much for joining us, and I really look forward to all of our conversations going forward. So back to you, Nina.
Thank you. Thank you so much. So now we're going to our keynote talk, and we're so grateful to have Ms. Ruth Orta to speak to us. Ms. Orta is an Ohlone elder descended from the peoples of the Bay Area with roots here since time immemorial. She is a matriarch in her family and a relative to Karina Gold, whom we will be hearing from later in the conference. Elder Orta wishes us all to know that she is very proud of who she is, and we are also proud and grateful to have her here. We're thrilled and humbled, and I will pass it over now to Ms. Orta. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Can everybody hear me? Good. This is a first for me to be talking on a computer kind of equipment here, because I'm the old-fashioned person that still is going to be in my storytelling self about my huge family. And I am a native from this part of the world, from this Alameda County for thousands of years. My mom was the native. My dad was a white man. He was Scotch-Irish. He passed away in 1939 when I was 5 years old. I was raised by my native mother. She lived to be 84. She passed away in 1986. She had 8 children. I was the second of the 8 and her first daughter. There's only myself and a younger brother left now. All my siblings have gone to the land we're promised that we're going to go to. And I have 7 children. I have 17 grandchildren. I have 38 great-grandchildren, and I have 14 great-great. So hopefully I'll be able to stay on this earth. And so far, so good. I'll be 87 August the 20th of this year. I worked all my whole entire adult life, but as a child, because this goes back to the food part of this conference, I imagine, is all about. It was the family tradition to work in all the fields of all the people that survived from all the atrocities that they encountered by the conquering, by the Spanish people of our land. And so to us, it was a paradise here. We had vegetables that we worked in the fields that we ate. We had fruit. We had dairy farms, milk, fresh milk. We used to go to the dairy farm to get our milk, pay 25 cents if the farmer would take it for a gallon of milk. So I still drink milk, and I drink organic milk because it tastes like the milk I had when I was a kid. So I think that's the reason why I'm healthy. And I thank my native mother for her native blood to make me as healthy as I am at my age. And I forgot to tell you that I had 38 great-grandchildren, and I have 14 great-greats. And they're the oldest my oldest daughter is going to be 70. She's active in the archaeological sites where they find burials, and she'll be continuing doing that. And she also, as far as the food part of the conference, she did the soap root brush, and the soap root plant was part of their food. That was an everyday thing that they had. They, just like the acorn. I was taught how to do the acorn in my old age. At 50 years old, I started to learn what our people did here in this land, because we never knew anything about how they lived. It wasn't allowed to be spoken of or anything. And so my granddaughter, my oldest granddaughter, who will be 51 this year, she did the cordage in the program, because I worked with the East Bay Regional Park District for 25 to 26 years at Coyote Hills, supporting the Ohlone intern program, where we had the gathering of the Ohlone Indians on that day once a year. And so we had a lot of knowledge taught to us by Native people that still had their own culture in the state of California. And so it's never too late to learn. But the only thing I don't want to learn is the computer or the cell phone and texting and all that. I have a cell phone, but it's only to call somebody or to receive a call. That's it, because I do a lot of traveling. And as far as the food part here, we never lacked for food. And we work for the farmers. So sometimes we would get it or we didn't have to pay for it. But as far as what's happened now, that's common sense. There's just too many people here, too many people. And that's all the building of the homes and big outfits for businesses and stuff. It's just taken over everything, and we don't have the food that we could have in this area anymore. And so I support you in what you do. I'm glad to speak here and let you know that the history, and thank you to all the young folks that I see that are involved in things that they're doing today and learning, especially in my family, learning how to speak the native language that we never knew that we even had here. And as a child, I'll just tell you about how I felt when I was a little girl. Being the oldest daughter with my mom, she used to talk to us about a lot of things. And I was a reader. I used to love to read books. And I used to tell my mother, Mom, how come the part of this land? That's somewhere else. She says, oh, that's what the government wants everybody to know, that we came from somewhere else, that we're not from here. So that way it gives them priority to take our land and keep our land. And we never had money, but they have money. So they claim they bought it. So that's where I'm at as far as my own thinking, my own common sense that I believe. So, but we're still here. We have never left. We're not leaving. I've been in Alameda County my whole entire life. I go visiting all over the creation, but this is my homeland and I will never leave it. Like I tell people, if I have to go to Coyote Hills over here in Fremont and cut me down some tule and make me a little hut, I'll park it on the city park in the middle of the town and I am not leaving, because I do not own land, I rent. I've worked all my life. So what you're doing, thank you. God bless you. And Karina is my cousin, and her grandmother was my first cousin. So that was a long, long time ago. And as long as I knew my cousin, they lived in Oakland. So they never left this part of the world either. And speaking at different places about who we are. And my family, my 100-member family, my little tribe that I call it, there, maybe I'll see 6 generations. So then I know for sure we're not leaving. So I don't know if my time is up. No, still yet. Okay. Like I said, I'm glad to see the young people doing what they do now that my family is involved in learning the Chinook in the family, and different natives in the Bay Area. And my little tribe that I named, it's Himnen, and it means a unity or union, because I was a union worker most of my life, and I fought for a lot of benefits that we got in the jobs that I had. And so I said, I don't want to name it after a computer outfit name or .com or something. I just want the name to mean our unity, our community. And so that's the reason why I just named it, because we're not recognized with the federal government as who we are. So we have to make up our own little tribes that we have to do so we can take care of the people that were buried here on the land and make sure that they're not trampled and all that kind of stuff. But you have to have a tribe. So that's what I named my people. And the majority of them are my big, huge family. So that's why I say, I hope I have 6 generations. That way I know for sure we're not leaving anywhere. So, and just keep up the work that you're doing. Teach, like one of the speakers said that she didn't know about the history of the place here. Don't feel bad, because the original natives didn't know about how we lived and what our names were. My mom registered us in the state of California when they gave us some money. Big deal. $648 each for the state of California. And they only gave it to if you proved that you were a quarter or more native. And so it's you know, sad that happened, but we didn't get anything. And but we had our food, we ate, we had our milk, we had our animals. We raised, my mom had on the little old ranch that we lived on, and we lived in one of the little rickety ranch houses. We had outhouses for our toiletries. To take a bath, we had a galvanized tub that we used to bring in and put it in the middle of the floor and fill it up with warm water and take your bath. Mom had to bathe the kids like that. To wash our clothes, we had galvanized tubs, and Mom had a little pit that she used to make herself to put her water in the tub, heat it on the rocks, and then wash it with a washboard. Excuse me. And if anybody's ever seen a washboard, that is backbreaking, because I used a washboard when I first got married at 16. We were poor. We had to make do with what we had, and that's a lot of work to come home from work and start scrubbing clothes to wash and hang them on the line. So that's how we lived. But it was a healthy living, though, because we associated people coming to the house with food. Right away, you would make a big dinner. Could be Tuesday or Wednesday or Monday or whatever. If they came, you cooked, you had a meal and you ate. So it was sharing of what we had around here. You didn't have to run to the store to go buy something. You had it in your own backyard. So there's a lot of things that we live that we didn't know was connected to our people that were from here, because it was a white man's world. You didn't, to eat your food, you would have to make it and eat it at home. You wouldn't eat the food that you had in school. They wouldn't allow any little Mexican kid to bring his tacos or burritos to the school, or a Spam sandwich that we might have, that the white man put that little meat inside of a can because it was cheap enough to buy. And so it was different, but it was an honest way of living. So thank you to everybody for doing what you do. And I'm very proud that you're waking up the people with this land. It didn't belong. We caretaked our land, and we didn't own. We caretaked it. We took care of it. And thank you all for sharing that and learning about it. And I'll give it back to whoever's taking care of this.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Ms. Orta. Thank you for the reminders. Thank you for the reminders of all that we have, all that we still need to work hard to create together. So we're really learning from you. And I think that so much of this conference will be about caretaking, and we might want to come back around and ask you some more questions about that. So thank you so much for your support and instruction. Thank you for grounding us in history, which is so important as we can think about what the future will look like. So take good care of yourself, and thank you again. Oh, you're on mute. Do you want to unmute? Do you want to say one more thing?
Am I muted now?
Yeah.
Yes, thank you. But I take care of myself because I have to drive my big, huge family all over the creation. Okay, thank you.
Good. Thank you
Bye-bye.
very, very much. We're going to be thinking about you, and we really appreciate it. Next up, thank you. Next up, we have Rob Benetton. We're so grateful to have, and a lot of partnership from our statewide cooperative extension service. Rob Benetton is the UC Cooperative Extension Bay Area Urban Ag Advisor, primarily serving Alameda, Contra Costa, and San Francisco counties. So I'm going to pull up the graphic and take it away, Rob. Thank you.
Thank you ever so much, Ms. Orta, and thank you also, Nina, for opening this conference. This Wordle that you're about to see was constructed from registration responses as conference themes elevated with the question, what does it mean to you to be an agroecological city? And in fact, this Wordle has many themes in it, and they all construct around and interweave a landscape of interdependence, a food web, in fact. Lucy, a student from Mills College who helped construct this Wordle, actually commented that many of the responses revolved around humans and human contexts which were integrally shared with lands, spaces, and places that mean a lot to all of us. There are several major currents this conference touches on, both seen and unseen within our collective agroecological cities of the Bay Area. This conference, in reality, is an opportunity. It's a gathering to grow together, to uplift voices, continue healing work, to grow communities, resources, and access with those and in partnership with those with the least resources, to grow the understanding that folks are not alone, that there is solidarity and hope, but that without clean, healthy soils, healthy air to breathe, healthy water to hydrate for all, we cannot sustain livelihoods. This conference is focused on growing food sovereignty, to grow local food and land access and security. One goal is to grow healing through traditional knowledge of cultural foodways, agroecological practices, and speakers will share with open hearts ways that we can grow family, public, and community health through current projects and efforts. One Health is a major theme as well. Healthy people, healthy families, equitable economies are key to the future of human settlements. Growing together with our neighbors, only then with those as cornerstones can we work to build exponentially inclusive, vibrant, multicultural communities that are made up of neighborhoods and cities. Lands access for low-income persons requires resource support, translating, inclusion, and interpreting of policy openings, sharing and uplifting of ancestral knowledge, and ultimately, one key theme is that we're all many seeds as part of many communities. We all wear many hats, have many roles. East Bay Seeds Collective, which manages a Bay Area-wide seed-saving network with many other partner libraries, focuses on the fact that each of us as seeds are meant to leaf, blossom, fruit, and share so that communities most impacted in this time of pandemics, climate change, and natural disasters may thrive with resilience. And with this, I pass the microphone back to Nina and ask you to think about all of the voices and all the knowledge of those that came before us. Thank you.
Thank you so, so much. Thank you. So I really appreciate everyone's contributions on the question, what does it mean to you to have an agroecological city? And I'm just, for all of the suffering of this pandemic, I think that the blessing is that through the computer and through the internet, we're able to be united with our friends really all around the world. I'm stunned that we have folks I saw from Chile, from Ireland, other countries. So this is really a chance for us to co-create and learn from each other. And this is what we always wanted. So we're making the best of this remote opportunity, and I'm very grateful for that. Thank you, Rob, for putting us on with all those words together. Now I'm just going to give a little bit of overview of what we're going to expect for the rest of our conference. And maybe if folks have questions, you can put it in the chat and we can try to answer them. I would also just like to ask folks that if you did RSVP and you don't intend to go, if you could cancel your registration, because if you don't show up, we're now at capacity in terms of registration and other people may want to take your place. So if you have registered, please make sure to that you will attend that session or cancel your registration if you cannot. We'd really appreciate that. Zoom only allows us 500 registrants per session. So I just really wanted to express gratitude to our planning team and all the humans that made this happen. Of course, the departments I named earlier wouldn't exist without these humans who have driven this work forward. Really key to this whole effort of bringing this together are Natalie Munoz and Merit Doshi. If you want to show your faces, I would just really appreciate, because these two women have done stunning work in getting us all together. Under Food Institute, that's Natalie, and under Tech Support, that's Merit. You might see them around in different sessions, but they're holding this all together. So yes, a lot of praise to you, and this could not happen without all the logistics that you all put a lot of effort into. So give them a shout out when you see them in a session. The rest of our superhero planning team includes Leah Atwood, Jesse Williamson, Rachel Searles, Coleman Rainey, Wanda Stewart, Julio Contreras, Paul Roger, Chris Cassidy, Josh Arnold, and all those that spoke earlier, our three professors, and Rob, and many more to come. We want to give a special thanks to Lucy Morrow for her logistical assistance before and throughout the conference, to Jenny Simons on her really consistent website development efforts, and to Berkeley students, Kevin Took and Justina Robinson for communication support. So it takes a village and a city in order to pull something like this off. So thank you to everyone. And if you see them in a session, say hi, or if you could send a direct message. And a bunch of folks are also Berkeley graduates. So we have this education and ideas now in our veins. Big picture about the conference over the next 2 weeks. There are 3 different themed tracks. Maybe someone could throw the general conference page into the chat and folks could refresh themselves on the 3 tracks. There are 1 to 2 sessions each day, except on Friday. We will end on Thursday, March 11th, and that's our closing session, which will involve a lot of great speakers and also a chance for you to meet other participants. So really encourage you to attend that. You were automatically registered for it if you registered for another session, but you might just want to check that you're registered, and you might have the link in your inbox to be able to attend. There will be an evaluation form for this opening session that I think will also be dropped in the chat. If you have a chance to just send us a few quick thoughts, that will help us to continue to improve our programming. We really appreciate it. And this is very exciting. We are still living in the physical world, and therefore we are planning to send you some mail via US Postal Service. That will be seeds for you to plant. Please provide your mailing address, as you were invited to do in your registration. If you did not provide your mailing address and you live in the United States, please email event coordinator Natalie Munoz. I'm sorry that due to customs requirements, we cannot send you seeds if you're outside of the United States. So sorry about that. But if you're within the United States, we'd love to send you seeds and we can grow together. You will also, everyone will receive follow-up resources via email based on the conference and further resources. I know sometimes it's hard to keep track of all the chats, but this will come in an action-packed email into your inbox. Is there anything else that we need to cover? Anything else that the organizers would like to say in our last few minutes? Please go ahead. No? Okay, well, I think that we are ready to go then, and looking ahead of schedule. Yes.
Hi, Nina. Thank you so much. And this was a wonderful way to kick off the conference. I think hearing from our elder, Miss Orta, just put what this conference is all about and what it seeks to accomplish in context. The storytelling was so moving and powerful, and I could see that in the chat as well. And so just, yeah, I really appreciate this as an opening session to kick off our event. I didn't know if we wanted to, there've been some activity in the chat, if there were people who were moved to express or say anything, or who want to share their thoughts, either about this work or about the sessions to come. If they use the hand raise feature, maybe we can moderate, if anybody wants to speak up, since we have this forum.
Great. I see Darlene. May I call on Darlene? Is that okay? Please go ahead, Darlene.
Hi, thank you so much for the opportunity to be here. I am
Welcome.
really excited about all the events that you have coming up. So really looking forward to it. And it was so great to hear from Miss Ruth Orta and to hear her wisdom and her experiences. And I am so honored that all of you organizers honored her to be here, to be able to speak to us and offer her wisdom. So thank you so much. And I hope I can get on the one this afternoon. It was full when I registered.
Oh, thank you. That's actually what I was going to say. Okay, glad to hear that. This afternoon at 2 p.m. will be Ancestral Healing Through Food and Land. And why don't you try again, because I hope that we can get you in. And of course, if you can't get in, we will post them on YouTube afterwards. But it is nice to be able to share comments in real time. So thank you so much, Darlene, and thank you for joining. Did anyone else
Thank you.
want to share something about where you are, questions or hopes for the conference? We welcome you. This is the benefit of this meeting format, to be able to hear your voice. If you raise your hand, then you come to the top of the queue here. And also, Jennifer has asked me, does anyone have questions for Ms. Orta now that we have her on and now that she's become a Zoom pro? Anyone have questions for her? Go ahead, Darlene.
Sorry, I don't have a question, but I do want to encourage you, Ms. Orta, to use Zoom as much as you can, only because it has helped our elders to stay connected with the younger people. And we all know that our younger people need that wisdom from their elders, and they need that connection. So my daughter recently started a storybook time, or just a storytelling time, where elders will either read a book or tell a story to our younger kids. And so it's turned into a beautiful event where they're continuing to learn from their elders. And that's here in the Central California. My name is Darlene, and I'm from the Ochejamne people here from Visalia, but I work in Fresno as the Native Wellness Director. But thank you. I enjoyed hearing your words, and you remind me so much of the words that my mom used to speak about where we come from, and we were created here. We didn't come from anywhere else but here.
Yep.
Thank you.
Yeah, I have a lot of stories from my mom, and a lot of things that she did and said. Because like I was telling Samir, the one that set me up with all this stuff here. And I appreciate and thank the really super nice lady that we're in her backyard doing this. So, but my mom would tell off anyone in beautiful English, and they'd walk away and they'd say, "Holy cow, that woman just told me off." She didn't have to cuss. She didn't have to use one cuss word, but you knew you were told off. But that was their way. They didn't have to live like that. And everybody respected the elders and the relatives. we used to have to name them by auntie, cousin, uncle, and your godparent. You know, you had to put that in front of their name. You would never just go up to them and call them a name. You would have to say cousin or auntie or uncle. Yeah. And it was a different way to live. And it was a connection with the earth and with creator and with all the animals. That's another thing. We didn't have killed animals for sport. It was to either for clothes, blankets, shoes, or food. But that's what creator put them here for, not to kill them for fun, to get a prize for shooting an animal. You know, that's not what it's all about. And that's another thing. My mom never, ever allowed a gun in her house. And I was the same way. My kids and my husband used to get so mad because he would go out and go hunting with the guys. Not in this house. Bring nothing over here with a gun, because that's the reason why we are where we're at in this time of the world. And as far as racism, I've seen it my whole entire life because of my mom being dark, my husband being dark. They even asked him for his passport or his ID, because what do you call it, the border patrol, when we used to work in the fields or they walked downtown. So it was racism. And my husband was 6'1" and a dark complected man. That's Mutt and Jeff. I'm 5 foot. Well, not anymore. I think I'm 11 3/4 now because I shrunk. But it was different the way we were. And I have this story about my mom. We were making First Holy Communion in the Catholic Church, and Mom made our dresses and got us all dolled up for the communion. And then she asked us a question: why were we receiving Holy Communion? I don't know what answer we gave her, but it wasn't the right one. She says, "You children are not going to make your communion. You're going to learn more about this stuff." So the nuns contacted her because we used to walk all over. And here comes my mom with the kids down the main street in Centerville, which is Fremont, and with their hands on their hips said, "Mrs. Rano, why aren't you sending your children to catechism? Why aren't they going to make First Holy Communion?" She put her hands on her hips and she says, "Because you ladies are not doing your job." They had no idea what they were doing. So she says, "You got another year with them. We didn't make First Holy Communion. We had to go back to class." But that's the way she was. Everything was respect for your fellow human, respect for the ground to give you food, respect to the animals for being there when you needed them, and humankind. You know, just you love everybody, no matter what they look like and how they speak, and you respect them for the ways they live, and be thankful for good health and stuff like that. But that was where all my stuff came from. That's the reason why I don't like the electronic stuff, because it's supposed to be human contact, human voice. I feel like I'm got a cold with the head all stuffed up. I can't.
Well, I'll just let you know, Ms. Orta, we have 130 people now listening to you from all around the world. And thank you so much for reminding us, also, Darlene, how much this technology tools for all the disconnection, they can also help bring us together across generations. So thank you for those reminders. I think we'll take those reminders into this conference. Let's try to use people's respectful titles. And if we're not sure, we can ask each other titles and pronouns to treat each other with that respect. No guns at this conference.
That's right.
No racism and no sexism. And I think, thank you for those reminders. We have one more question for you or for others from Derek Bryant. I think we also had a question in the chat. Maybe we can get to it, but let's take Derek first, please.
Hello, everyone. And it's not a question, but thank you, Ms. Orta. I love hearing you speak. You make my heart pump.
Oh, good.
I am in the Silicon Valley, Mumweka, territory. This is a new practice for me to give reverence to the natives in this land. Down here in the valley, they still give reverence to figures like Junipero Serra and other conquerors of this area. And I hope that in
Oh, I
time,
protested those.
good, I
I
know
was
it.
one of the protesters.
Beautiful. I think it's time for those spaces, for those names to come down
That's right.
and then create all vacant land space available to us to grow food, flowers,
Yes,
and herbs.
yes.
And I've been doing a lot of work here in the Silicon Valley. Particularly my work is centered around healing and gardening as a self-care practice, because I feel that that is the way most people of color engage with gardening. I've been on many farms conferences since January, and there's a stark difference between the large farm owners who join this for maybe business ideas and how to grow their farm and expand. And when conversations are brought up about how we can allocate land to people of color or awaken green thumbs, and for people, these farmers kind of fall out in their seat with the radical ideas that we propose. And I want to thank Rob Bennington for inviting me here. I have a good feeling that this conference will be different, much more reflective, of course, but I do hear action. I want to see action. I want to see people take bold chances. I'm working. I always speak during these things, and I stay in the comments because I want to collaborate, and I need to collaborate. I'm a kind of an island out here. As you know, in the valley, the technological growth from where we go from the Valley of Heart's Delight, where we grew trees and orchards, to this tech boom. The growth we've had in the valley is exponentially faster than the rest of the world, but there is a huge focus on retaining some of this agriculture space, but not much of it is for people of color out here. And so I really hope that I can learn from my brothers and sisters of all colors up there up north to apply some of those here. My activism in this space has brought me to a place now where I was backyard gardening 8 years ago. And now here I am working at the city of Santa Clara as a community garden coordinator. I never thought that I'd have a career in urban ag, and I encourage everyone, there is so much space for this. And now I am working with foundations who have taken my ideas even larger, and we're talking about starting a Black-owned community garden. I also just want to share in these conferences that the idea of ownership has evolved as well into more of a stewardship. The ideas of access has evolved well into actually tenure. And I think it's important for us to understand how we can have tenure and access to these lands, because ownership really is a when it comes to land, is a white supremacist idea. I believe that. So, however, I know for the Black community to own, to grow something means a lot. It means a whole lot, which is, I'm so happy that my sponsors understand that, you can lease land, but the tomato that's grown on that land is owned. The medicine that goes in your body is owned. The compost that goes back into the land, it's a beautiful thing. So I hope that you guys will connect with me, because I'm so happy to be here. So thank you for letting me share.
Yay. Yay. We're so happy. And I think that's just such a wonderful way to thank you so much. What a great model for how we can all be through this conference. Speak up. Let us know what you're doing. Let us know what help you need, what obstacles you faced. This conference is really going to be about overcoming obstacles that we know exist. many people are involved in various levels of experience with urban agriculture. And now we're going to get over the next 2 weeks into how we're going to overcome those obstacles and help each other. And there may be some grandparent and grandchild adoptions happening as well. And I think that that's wonderful if we can forge those intergenerational and cross-border connections to help each other out. So thank you so much, Derek. Thank you for coming. Thank you for what you're doing on the land. Thank you, Ms. Orta. Thank you for reminding us of how we should see all of this. And I think that's just a wonderful way to kick us off. And I cannot wait to see everyone. Let me see if we have any last technical issues to be. Oh, the recorded videos will be on our Berkeley Food Institute YouTube page very soon. So thank you, everyone. Have a wonderful day. I hope you can get outside wherever you are, and cannot wait to see you in all of our sessions over the next 2 weeks. Be well. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.